Phyllis brings Cricket and Danny's reception to a standstill. Recap. On today's The Young and the Restless recap, Daniel and Phyllis's toasts get very different receptions on The Young and the Restless. All the guests are at the GCAC celebrating Danny and Cricket. Daniel is giving his best man speech whilst Tessa gives him her full attention. He talks about being the photographer on one of his tours which changed the way he looked at his father. Daniel got a chance to learn what an exceptional, kind and generous person he truly is. He is in awe of the kind of father and grandfather Danny is, and he appreciates him for all he does. As he speaks, Phyllis and Kane walk in the back. Daniel says Christine is the best and no one has made his father happier. With that, he raises a glass in celebration of the wedding. Just then, Phyllis grabs a glass to give her own toast. Later, Phyllis gets weepy and says she agrees with her son. As much as it kills her, she has never seen Danny happier. She congratulates the couple for never having given up on their love. Phyllis lifts her glass, alone, and toasts the happy couple before Daniel drags her out. Previous The Young and the Restless recap. Cricket and Danny tie the knot. What did you think of today's episode? Sound off in the comments and watch the video clip below. Keep checking back for the latest The Young and the Restless recaps. This story was originally reported by Daytime Confidential on November 24, 2025, where it first appeared in the Young and the Restless section. Add Daytime Confidential as a preferred source by clicking here. Recap. Phyllis brings Cricket and Danny's reception to a standstill. If anyone had predicted that Danny Merlot's wedding reception would become the social equivalent of a controlled demolition, complete with smoke, screaming, and a rogue Cricket, I imagine people would have believed it. The problem was never Danny. It was Phyllis. She'd spent most of her life in unintentional catastrophe, and she carried with her the same energy natural disasters carry. Sudden, impossible to underestimate, and very, very loud. But no one, not the bride, not the groom, not even 3 separate venue coordinators who had labeled her caution, active risk, anticipated what would happen halfway through the reception. It all began innocently enough, as disasters often do. The build-up to doom. The Merlot family had chosen a charming countryside banquet hall, half rustic barn, half aspirational wedding magazine. Lanterns hung from beams. A string quartet played soft classical music. And for one brief, shimmering hour, everything went according to schedule. Guests ate canapés. Photographers captured smiles. Danny danced as if he'd practiced. Cricket, the groom's older brother, wore a suit that made him look strangely responsible. Phyllis arrived exactly 11 minutes late, dressed in what could only be described as spiritual armor, a sunflower yellow kaftan, a chunky necklace shaped like a beetle, and a handbag that seemed to carry the burden of too many secrets. "Sorry I was delayed," she announced, sweeping into the room with the grace of a human broom. "I had to negotiate with the universe." Because of course she did. People braced themselves. You could see it, shoulders tightened, forks hovered, eyes narrowed. Everyone knew the storm was coming, they just didn't know when. Phyllis kissed the bride 5 times on the cheek, hugged Danny until he squeaked. And then she spotted Cricket. "Oh, Cricket," she said, arms outstretched like an omen. "You look like a man who needs a blessing." Cricket froze. "No, really, I'm..." "Shoo," Phyllis whispered with terrible authority. "Let it happen." This, as it turned out, was the moment the future cracked. The mystical blessing nobody asked for. Guests watched as Phyllis planted her hands on Cricket's shoulders. She murmured something in a language no one recognized. She closed her eyes dramatically. Then she reached into her beaded handbag. People ducked. But she produced nothing worse than a tiny velvet pouch. A collective exhale swept across the reception. "It's a charm," she declared proudly. "A symbol of fertility, protection, and spiritual realignment." Danny, the groom, whispered, "Why does Cricket need fertility?" Cricket whispered, "I don't." But the pouch was already open. Inside rested, no exaggeration, the largest cricket anyone had ever seen. A real one. Alive. Very awake. Very offended. "It's symbolic," Phyllis said. Cricket the man, meet Cricket the guide. Cricket the man looked ready to change his name. Before anyone could protest, Phyllis held up the insect like Simba from The Lion King, except far less majestic. It represents transformation, she announced. The cricket did not care about transformation. It cared about freedom. And suddenly, violently, it leapt. The escape of the insectual menace. Panic moved through the room in a wave. The cricket bounced off Phyllis's forehead, ricocheted off Cricket's suit jacket, and disappeared under a nearby buffet table. The quartet stopped playing mid-note. Someone screamed. Silverware clattered. Danny grabbed his new spouse's hand to shield them from the creature, though it seemed unlikely the cricket was capable of homicide. Phyllis gasped. Oh dear. He's journeying. He's escaping. Cricket yelled. He's tiny, Danny muttered. Everyone calmed down. No one calmed down. Because at that exact moment, a waiter carrying a towering tray of champagne flutes saw the cricket skitter across the floor, panicked, and performed an accidental interpretive dance of terror. Glasses shattered. Champagne rained from the heavens. Guests dove for cover as if under artillery fire. Phyllis clasped her hands. He's chosen a path. Beautiful. Cricket wiped champagne off his face. Phyllis, control your bug. It isn't mine, she insisted indignantly. It belongs to the cosmic currents. Cricket lunged toward the buffet table, but the cricket, perhaps fueled by chaos, sprang away again, this time leaping onto the DJ booth. The DJ shrieked, slapped a button, and accidentally turned on the fog machine at full blast. Thick white vapor filled the room within seconds, swallowing elegance whole. By the time the fog cleared enough that guests could distinguish humans from furniture, the reception had entered a state of perfect, frozen shock. Everything, music, movement, merriment, had ground to a standstill. Children huddled behind chairs. Grown adults stood on tiptoe, scanning for signs of insect life. The bartender refused to come out from behind the counter. The cake decorator wept softly in a corner for reasons unrelated to the bug. Cricket the man had climbed onto a chair, wielding a bread roll like a weapon. Danny had halted the photographer from taking more pictures. No one posts any of this online. The bride tried to keep smiling for the sake of diplomacy, but her left eye twitched ominously. And in the middle of all this, Phyllis. Calm, untouched, almost glowing. She held out her arms and gently announced, "My dear ones, don't you see? This is a sign. It's a sign you shouldn't bring pests to weddings." Cricket snapped. "It's a symbol of transformation," Phyllis said. The cricket appeared at a moment of stagnation, revealing that harmony requires inner stillness. Everyone stared. Danny pinched the bridge of his nose. "Phyllis, the harmony is broken. The reception is literally at a standstill because of your cricket." But Phyllis only smiled with maddening serenity. At that moment, the fog parted like curtains.